Alright, welcome to May wrap up. I'm gonna do this as fast as physically possible despite the fact that I read 15 books in May because I'm hot, okay? It's like 70% humidity, like 90 degrees, and my room is of course the attic, so it's hotter than all the rest, but we're up here, we're filming. Yes, I did forget to put the whiteboard back up after taking clips for the thumbnail. I don't know, it's not straight. Neither am I, it's June, it's fine. I don't know why I put it back up when I'm going to finally change it to the June books after this, but that's fine. Yes, we're gonna do the stats first, good times like I normally do, and then we'll actually go into the books. Which I read 15 books. I read a total of 2,958 pages and listened to 36.7 hours. That 0.7 will make sense, I swear. The average rating was 3.32, which means I've read the same amount of books as I did in my highest amount, which is January, and second highest average rating, tied with last month, April. So the only one ahead of it being January. So like overall a good month, right? 2 rereads, and none of them were by authors of color. Okay, so genre, these are the main genres, not the secondary ones. We have 1 classic, 3 contemporaries, 3 eroticas. We love a podcast. 2 fantasies, a horror, 8 romances, and I believe that's it. That sounds about right for me. 4 of them were audio, 8 were ebooks, 0 were physical. I thought that's it. 2 physical. I will have 1 physical book because I did buy one of the books after I read it. And 2 mixed media. And whatnot. The audience, 12 were adult, 1 new adult, and 5 YA, which seems to be on theme for me, because like I do feel like I'm enjoying adult books more than YA more recently, all that fun stuff. 5 books were debuts, 5 were from authors that I've read before, and 8 were from authors that were new to me. For the ratings, of course there were no 5 stars because I'm a B, even with the rereads. None of them were 5 stars. But I did have 4.5 stars, which was fun for figuring out which one was the favorite of the month. 3 4 stars, a 3.75. I think that's the first time I've ever given something that rating. 3 3.5s, 2 3 stars, and then 2 2.5s, a 2, a 1.5, and 3 DNFs. 2 of which in 1 vlog. So good times. That's the stats. And go into the actual books. Starting off with the lowest rated one, instantly, that's how I started the month. The lowest rated one, yeah, that was in the DNF, which was Get in My Swamp by GM Ferry. It was for a podcast episode, where every other week is erotica. And this was Shrek Smut. It's called the Shrek Smut episode. It's up right now, so like it's on YouTube and everything. Yeah, it was a book. It took me so many days to read it, despite the fact that it's like under 120 pages, because yeah, it took me a bit. It was not a good time. And then I wanted to read another book, a short book preferably, before my weekend reading vlog. So then I started the other short book on my TBR, which happened to be the book for the Buzzwordathon, which happened to do with food. So I read Comfort Me with Apples, which was one of the 4.5 stars. I instantly went from like the lowest rated to one of the highest rated. We love that for me. It was really good. I don't want to say anything because like spoilers. But I mean I loved it. But basically it's like one of those horror books where like it's a normal thing for all the characters. It's just the world's normal to them. Kind of like Tender as Flesh, where like cannibalism is just a thing they do in this society, and as you're reading it you're like what, because it's not normal for us but it's normal to them. It's one of those type of horror books. Also, the only reason I didn't rate it 5 stars is because I did guess the plot twist and the whole entire mystery of it. Literally like the same scene that they're saying what it is, like 2 pages before it happened, I figured it out. But it was great. And then I started and read the only book that no wait, it wasn't the only book. I did finish another one for the 3 book vlog. because it's also short, it's like under 250 pages for the 3-book vlog where I read a bunch of odd historical romances on my TBR, called Proper English. It was gay. My favorite parts were the gay parts. The murder mystery, like, thing, I was, like, mad about. General things in general I was mad about. I think I rated it 3.5, yeah. Because it was fine, but I did really enjoy a lot of the gay stuff, so, like, good times. And then I, for the weekend reading vlog, read Theoski, finally, a book that I've owned for a long time. I think I dual read it. I think I did audio and ebook. Yeah, I did. Just to get through it faster, because I was running out of time for the vlog. But I rated it 3 points out of 5. Okay, that was the one that I rated that. Yeah, I really liked it. I had like small little things, but I really enjoyed it. I am so excited for the next one. You do not understand. And DM Larry, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, keeps on posting things on her Instagram, and I'm just like, give. But yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. And then I started another book for the 3-book vlog, which was A Kingdom of Dreams by Judith McNaught. I read 14 pages before I DNF'd it. I knew before going to it, because I do tend to check content warnings, that one, it was written in the 80s, that it was a kidnapping romance, and that sexual assault is a theme throughout the book, and I went, oh no. And then I picked it up, and it instantly starts on the wedding day of the main character when she's 17 to the man who forced her, who is supposed to be like the person I root for. Like, I'm supposed to root for them to be happy together. Like, that's also her love interest. Her love interest is the man who she's forced to marry because he forced himself on her. And I'm like, no. I'm just gonna say no. I don't care. The video that I found it from, I did like look at the clip where she talks about it briefly. She did not. She was like, it's a little controversial, and then didn't say why or how. And then, it's just like, oh, you think he's like this dark brooding guy, but he's actually a sweetheart at heart and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I do like the secretly grumpy guy who's actually not a grump kind of thing. But no. So, after I started and then DNF that in one day, I needed something easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. Something that, you know, was just a good time and didn't make me want to throw myself off a cliff. So I read the first book in, I think it's called Desert Rose trilogy by Mika James. Stingray picked it out for my TBR for me, called Being Hospitable. Basically the main character lets the younger sister of her best friend stay at her apartment for some work stuff, and then because I think she has like an internship nearby or something, and then slowly they build a relationship. It's cute. I liked it. 3.5. And then I read the second book of the series, Being Cordial. That one was straight. I don't know what it was with me and romance books in May, but almost every single straight romance I read in May always had at least one time the male main character like being rude to the main character, and then I'm supposed to find it hot and flirting, and I was just like, no, this would just piss me off and make me want to leave. So because of that, I gave it 2.5 stars. It was fine. They're like neighbors. He recognized that she hates him, and it's like nothing that he did personally, is just something that like it's just a life thing for her, and he like makes fun of her for it when he finally figures out what it is and all this stuff, and whatnot. But like it's kind of supposed to be enemies to lovers, but I don't know. And then I read the last book in the 3-book vlog, which was Edenbrooke. I low-key upset I didn't DNF it. I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't know. Basically, everyone lies and gaslights. I don't know if gaslight's the right word, but they do lie and hide secrets from the main character, and then act surprised when she doesn't know the things because no one actually tells her anything. She is going to a country house. Her mother recently died, like in the past year. Her father just went away to France, and shipped her off to her grandmother. Her twin sister went to hang out with some friends, and so her sister is being invited to that friend's country house, and so she invites the main character, right? It's called Edenbrook. That makes sense. And she knows from letters from her sister, I think her name is like Cicely, that she plans to marry the head of this house, all this stuff. And then she gets there and she befriends, accidentally, becomes like really close with the second son of his family and all this stuff, who is the only other person there really of her age and all this jazz. And then she learns, kind of like halfway through the book, that actually the eldest son died and he's actually the ruler of this family, which means he's the one that the sister wants to marry. And so she starts like stepping back to give her sister the chance, and it's supposed to be like them blossoming in their love and all this stuff. And I was just like, no, all the characters suck, every single one. It's not a good time. Also there's essay in this one too. We love it. We don't. Why? Why? So then I decided, after I finished that, to read the third and final book in the Desert Rose trilogy, Being Mary, which is a lesbian Christmas novella, because why not? I rated it 3 stars. It was a good time. I too got annoyed by the main character's cheery Christmas stuff that the other main character was very much annoying to, but that's fine. And it was a good time. My bug bites are itching so bad. It's fine. I liked it. Whatever. Started and finished the series in the same month. Miracle for me. And then I started Too Happy to Hoax for the purple vlog. I got 3 hours into it before I decided to stop. Basically, the whole entire premise is that the main characters have been married for 5 years. The first year of marriage was like a great, good time. They loved each other greatly. And then the past 4 years, there was like, he believes that she did something to betray him, and she is angry because he automatically assumed it was her. She never said that maybe she did say it wasn't him or wasn't her who did it. And he just never believed it. I won't know because I DNF'd it. But basically the whole entire thing is them miscommunicating about things. And then he falls off a horse. One of his friends, who is like the brother, one of her friends, is like, hey, this happened. And she's like, oh no, rushes to go help him. And then they accidentally run into each other at like a the carriage resting place, whatnot. Because like he's returning home after his accident, but he's fine now, and she gets real angry that he decided not to tell her that she was fine or any of this stuff. And then he says something and she takes it the wrong way, that like means that, hey, I just won't tell you if I'm sick or dying. So she gets pissed, so she comes up with a plan to pretend to be sick and dying so that he knows how it feels. And like, it works for half a second, then he realizes that it's actually a ploy, and he does feel bad after the fact, but that is just like them butting heads for the rest of the book, I assume, because around that point is when I DNF'd, because I recognized I would have just been so angry, and the serotonin I got from DNFing it, much better. And then I read the other romance for that vlog, which was The Dating Plan, which instantly so much better. We got Brother's Best Friend, Grumpy Sunshine, Fake Dating, just all around good times. Basically her family wants her to get married, and whatnot, and he needs to get married to get his inheritance. Also, by fake dating him so he can get his inheritance, one, it looks bad to her family, she's like divorced within a year, but also he offers help for the company that she worked for. There's a lot of stuff with like the company and whatnot, and like, hear me out, if the white guy who ran the company had just listened to her from the beginning, it wouldn't have been an issue. Just saying. But yeah, it was much cuter and much better than To Happen to Hoax. It was so much better. 3.5 stars. The last, like, I want to say like 30%, the last third was a little bit slow, sluggish, but it was still a good time. I liked it. And then the third one for the vlog, the one that I bought as soon as I finished it, like literally as soon as I finished it, like that same day, I was like, hello, saw that it was on sale, 33% off, so I bought it, and that is Starfish. I rated it 4.5 stars. It's like the favorite of the month, and whatnot. It was good. The main character, it lives with her mother, who narcissistic tendencies, and her 2 brothers who pretend she doesn't exist. There is a uncle who assaulted her when she was young, and her mother just doesn't believe her. She believes that the whole entire reason her parents got divorced and her father cheated is because of the stress of this whole entire instance, and whatnot. It's not really a spoiler to say. Like, as soon as the uncle was mentioned, I was like, oh no, this is the man's, because I did check the content warning. It did say sexual assault on it. But there's like this school she really wants to go to, and then due to things happening because of that, she ends up going to California with her childhood best friend, and trying to find her place in the world outside of everything her mother has told her. There's also a lot of stuff about race, because her father is Japanese, I believe, and her mother ideal, well, the whole entire a lot of people ideal view of beauty is white, but especially her mother's always like, you don't have my lips, or you don't have my hair, or you don't have my eyes, and it's like, or her head shape, or any of this stuff, and she's like, it feels like her mother hates her because she is too Asian, and you know, just good times. Anyways, I love this. It was so good. I want to annotate it so bad. So bad. So one day I will reread it. Yes, I did like pull it out yesterday to put it over here, because that's when I planned to film this, but things happened. And then I started Geekerella, the 4th book. Apparently I read all 5 of these in a row. Wow. This is worth a 0.7, because I got 40 minutes into the audiobook before I went, no, and stopped. Every review I saw of it from friends all liked it, and they all said it was cute and adorable, but I was instantly annoyed. Basically, the main character, I think her name's like Cindy or something, or maybe Ella, I don't know, because it's Cinderella. She lives with her stepmother and stepsister. She basically takes care of the house and her family and all this stuff until she can graduate and leave. They live in her father's house, who died recently, and her favorite sci-fi show to watch with her dad is getting a new adaptation, right? So she wants to watch this show thing that's like, hey, this is the guy who plays the main character in the show. It's like her comfort show and all this stuff, and it's apparently a soap opera actor who plays him, and she's not the biggest fan of him and all that. Because of that, turns out and then like that's her love interest, and he's like 18 and he doesn't like all this popularity. He just needs the money, I think, or something. I don't know. I didn't have 40 minutes. I was instantly annoyed. I hated it. It was not a good time, so I didn't have to. I am going to try the later books in the series. The second one is gay, and the third one is Beauty and the Beast, so I have high hopes, but we'll see. And then I read the last book for the vlog, which is You Should See Me in a Crown. I dual read that one. It was good. It was everything I expected from it, but it was pretty good. The main character is trying to get a scholarship for about $10,000, music scholarship, I believe, to go to the same school that her mother went to, so that she can become a doctor, and study sickle cell, which is how her mother died, and also what her brother has and is sick a lot from. And then she doesn't get the scholarship, and so she realizes that the prom king and queen get a scholarship that's about the same amount of money, so she goes and tries to become prom queen because of this. There's a lot of racism. There's also homophobia. She's also gay, and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff about like this. I think it's Midwestern. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it's Midwestern town, small town, full of mostly rich white people. Like 98% of it is rich white people who try their whole big thing in town is prom and all this stuff, and her trying to go against their norms in order to get her dreams and all this stuff. Everything I expected, but still good. I love the cute gay stuff. I have thoughts about the friend, and also every mean girl apparently has to be named Rachel. And then I decided to reread The Great Gatsby. Don't ask why. I did the audiobook this time around. The first time I read it was in high school. I wasn't sure if I still would hate it. Spoiler, I do. It's 2 stars still. It's not good. I don't know why I tried to reread it. I did, though. Because of, there's a lot of remixes of classics coming out that I really want to read, and that's one of them. So I decided to reread it just to be safe, to see if, like, do I really hate it, or did I just really hate that teacher? Spoiler, I did also hate that teacher. But no, I also hated that book. It was not good. Before this, the most I remembered about this book was that in Pretty Little Liars, Ezra's family is rich because he is a descendant of F. Scott Fitzgerald, hence Fitz for the last name. That's the most I remembered about it. So, you know, good times. And then, oh yeah, and then I had a family dinner, so I needed a quick, short ebook I could read during that, where it wouldn't be for the podcast, because the 2 last books I had to read on my TBR were for the podcast. And so I would have to take notes, and I didn't want to have to take notes during having to deal with my family. So obviously, I think something on a review is something about reading a lesbian erotica written by a woman of color in the same room as my Republican grandparents who are making homophobic and racist comments that have to do with politics. Yeah, that's what I decided to do apparently. Yeah, I read Laid Bare by Anna Stone. It is the prequel to the Mistresses series, and it's like free on her website. So like, yeah, I was like, why not read this? I keep on waiting to read this one, and whatnot. And I knew it's short, cause like the prequel novella. And yeah, there's forced proximity, cause they get stuck in an elevator together. Good times. It was gay. It was a good time. It's great to watch to read in the same room as your grandparents as they're praising DeSantis. So, you know, yeah. And then for the podcast, I read Desperate Measures by Kitty Robert. I did the audiobook this time. The last time I read it was in February last year. It is in my first ever video that wasn't my newbie tag. That's what it was. I upped it from 3.5 to 4 stars. It was good. It was, I mean, I don't know, Jafar and Jasmine. I am currently reading the sequel, so, you know, good times. Good times. It was good. It was a fun time recording that episode. I think that episode actually went up today, so that's like a thing, and all that jazz. And then the buddy read for the podcast, I just really wanted to read a gay pirate book. So I looked up gay pirate books, and then I saw this book on a list of gay pirate books, and that was coming out soon, like months ago. It was like February or something, when I originally made the list. And yeah, so we read The Wicked Bargain by Gabe Cole Novoa. It's great. I love it. Okay. It gives me a mix of In Deeper Waters, which is one of my favorite books of all time, with Cemetery Boys, which is a great book that I read last year. So like, it was just a good time, about a transmasc character dealing with grief, and also a deal with El Diablo. And there's just a demon hanging out, a cute boy named Bass, who I didn't initially like, but by the end I enjoyed, and also secret magical powers. So, you know, good times. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It was good times. I took many notes. It was good. I rated it 4 stars, because it was a bit slow for me in the beginning. But, yeah, it was a good book. I recommend. And that's that. That's all the books. The end. A link below is both Stingray. I don't know if Stingray's making this thumbnail or not. I don't know. But also me, and all the stuff, including the podcast. And the podcast is YouTube, that will also be up above the cards. And also, the podcast Instagram run by Stingray. And all that jazz. Also up above in the cards will be all the episodes of vlogs that I mentioned. So all the weekend and not my computer trying to turn off, the weekend and the 3-book and the purple vlog all will be up above in the cards. It's a good time. I don't know what else to say. If the podcast intrigues you, like I say, check it out this month, because we're doing 2 episodes a week for June, because Pride Month. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna go. The next videos, I believe Wednesday will be the normal read with me, and then the next Saturday will be the weekend reading vlog of June. But yes, I'm hot, so I want to go turn my fan back on. So I'm gonna go. This isn't as long as I expected it to be, so hell yeah.